Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Mrs. Norian, would you lead us in the flag salute, please?
Yes. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sunshine Law Statement. All requirements of the Open Public Meetings Act have been met for this meeting of the Board of Education of the Borough of Oradell. Notice of this meeting was filed with the Record and Town News and all persons requesting such notice. Mr. Darian, would you read the mission statement?
The Oradell Public School District is dedicated to the ongoing pursuit of educational excellence through comprehensive, innovative curriculum and instruction. The district is committed to providing opportunities for social, emotional, and academic discovery to foster curiosity, courage, and character. Our goal is to prepare our students to become lifelong learners who are self-directed, resilient, productive, responsible citizens.
Thank you. Roll call.
Mrs. Acosta? Here. Mrs. Negum?
Here.
Mr. Griffin? Mrs. Norian?
Here.
Mrs. Shapiro? Mrs. Walker?
Here.
Mr. Walsh? Here. Mr. Darian?
Here.
Mrs. Nichols?
Here. At this time, we'll open to the public for agenda items only. Okay, not seeing any. We are going to skip right to the superintendent's report because I think we have some exciting presentations.
Good evening. I am very excited to see so many OPS students in the audience today. You know how you always ask me, like, what does the superintendent do? This is it. Looks like fun, right? Well, this is the Board of Education, and they make a lot of decisions about Oradell Public School. And I keep telling them about how amazing the STEM lab is, okay, or the Creative Thinkers Lab, if I use its accurate name now. So I was thinking about how do I show them? How do I show them all the amazing things you are doing? And that's why I asked Mrs. Hawley and Mrs. Cataldo and Ms. Mercado, Mrs. Lozano, to see if they could get some students to come today, because you're actually not only Oradell Public School students, you're Oradell Public School District students, and you actually are helping me accomplish our district goals, so thank you. So Mrs. Hawley, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Good evening. This has to be the most excited I've been about a board meeting all year. Not that our time together isn't often exciting, but I can't wait for you to see the wonderful things that we have been doing in our STEM lab, which we have now named based on a democratic election. The students suggested names, and we voted last week at on election day, and hands down, our winner was the Creative Thinkers Lab. So we are so excited to present to you tonight some 6th grade creative thinkers, some 2nd grade creative thinkers, and we're going to bring you into our creative thinkers world. So get ready to creatively think tonight, board members. Students, those of you who are here to support your family member, watch what happens at our board meetings. This is a great learning experience for you. We almost never have a fantastic audience. So watch what Ms. Bozius and the board members do. Listen to what they ask of you, because this is a really important part of our school district. And my Panthers who are presenting, do you feel ready? Yes. Excellent. We're going to start first with an introduction of our new STEAM coach, Mrs. Cataldo. And she has created a video for you to see a little bit of what our 2nd graders and our 6th graders have been doing in the Creative Thinkers Lab. So we're going to start with that, and then I'll introduce the students for presentations. You were at the PTA meeting. We had technology difficulties last night, too.
So what did you make? And what was it not? Was that hard to do? What made you think of a boy? The hair? So you saw hair right away? The creativity challenge.
I loved it.
Why'd you love it?
I loved it because at home, I always have to
And what did you imagine today?
I imagined for me to be a cheerleader.
And what about the time? Did that make it hard?
Yes.
How much time did you have?
We only had 15 minutes.
Okay, so that was your criteria. What's a constraint?
A constraint is like rules you have to follow. Made you do the instructions. I would read the planner's Lego all the time. Because I would use my imagination.
So just to point out a couple of things from the videos, one of our second graders, I don't know if you heard her, she said that she likes going to the STEM lab because she can use her imagination, not like at home where she just always has to do her homework. One of my favorite pieces of STEM and STEAM is the idea of using the engineering design process. And if you know anything about engineers, you know that they're always looking at how they can improve and make things better. And very often in education, when we have students do a math problem or a math situation, or write a writing project or a story, kids get to a point where they're like, yep, I'm done, I want to hand it in and be finished with this. But what the engineering design process does is it helps us focus on what's the next iteration, that we're never really truly finished. We're constantly trying to make things better. So for our steam tank, shark tank problem that our 5th and 6th graders are working on, they have to come together to think about a problem that they had and a way that they could possibly solve it. So they are actually moving through the engineering design process just like engineers do, just like artists do, just like problem solvers do out in the real world. So to start, I have Massimo, Milo, and Taylor to present their idea to you this evening. All right. So you're going to stand, you're going to open your laptop, Milo. Okay. Yeah. Coming up, Poppy. Hi. And then when you talk, you just want to talk towards the mic. Okay. And I'm going to say hello. Is that okay? Okay. I'm here if you need me.
All right. Hi, I'm Milo Strzok, and this is Taylor and Massimo. We are trying to figure out how to make a catalytic converter out of recycled plastic. A catalytic converter is used for filtering exhaust. We found a way to 3D print a non-flammable, non-melting plastic for the catalytic converter.
A average catalytic converter is made of a platinum metal, which is most precious metal in the world. Our design cuts down on mining and stealing. It's made of recycled plastics.
First, we thought about problems happening around Oradell. We thought about how people were stealing Cadillac converters. Then we imagined solutions to see how we could fix this problem. We realized they were made out of platinum, and if we made them out of recycled plastics, they wouldn't have to mine for the platinum, and no one would want to steal plastic. Then we tried to improve our design so it wouldn't melt. Our average Cadillac converter is made of a series of filters. Our design will be made of vestable plastic, which has no melting point. It will cost about the same as an average Cadillac converter.
So face.
They have designed our first 3D project, which is going to go to the printer next week. So they have made it, they've told us they went on Tinkercad and they designed it, and we'll be trying to print it for the first time next week.
You want to,
So can you pass those that way, and then you can get them from Ms. Catherine?
Great job.
do you have your poster? Oh, go ahead, you can talk from there. It's okay.
I'm in the way here.
Do I read the poster?
Do you want to read the poster? Or do you feel like everything that's on the poster you covered? Okay.
You
What
can
I
go
would like-
around, get right on the other side of the
Yeah.
table.
Go ahead. What I would like to do, friends, is ask the board if they have any questions for you. And Ms. Cat and Mrs. Lozano can help you answer questions, okay? Does the board have any questions? Or wondering?
So I have a question. Is that like a prototype that you guys built, and then did you create a design and send it in for printing?
So we found a design, and this is our prototype, and we'll be 3D printing a smaller version of it.
Okay.
So they'll be presenting on Friday. The entire sixth grade will be presenting their projects to a panel, and from there we'll pick who's going into the steam tank. But they all continue on to do Shark Tank, and the steam tank is run by the New Jersey School Boards Association.
This is just a comment, but I applaud your interest in something that's so current, because we've seen it on TV. We've seen all these thieves get under cars and steal them. So you're really very timely as far as inventing something that is not only economical, but also safer, too. So.
Where did you get your idea? Go ahead.
I got my idea from when I heard that people started stealing them, and how people were trying to put their cars in their garages. So for the people that didn't have a garage, if they had a plastic one, no one would try and steal it.
Right.
And who talked to you about that?
My dad.
It's great.
Any other questions or wonderings?
I have a comment. If you find out who's stealing them, I'll give you my address, because I've been having trouble with my catalytic converter for a couple of months.
He wants his stolen. He wants his stolen. So you first mine.
Yeah,
So you can get a new one of yours.
right, so you can get a plastic one.
Thank you very
Great
much.
thought.
Thank you.
Great thought.
It's awesome.
Thank you.
So our next group, we have Maeve, Charlotte, Lexi, and Maddie.
Girls, do you want your poster?
I think they just wanted it to hang there. We'll put it on top.
The engineering design process is what people use to create innovations and inventions. These are the steps. Ask a question, imagine, plan, create, experiment, and improve. Here's what we did to use these steps in our innovation.
We started this process by asking ourselves two questions. One, how can we help the community? And two, what do we deal with every day? When I heard this idea, my mind immediately started moving. I looked around my house for days until I found my mom's toiletry bag in the bathroom. I saw that it was foldable, easy to carry things, so I thought, how can I relate this to school? Well, you can put your supplies and things in there, including your water and your snack. It's the perfect thing for a student on a daily basis. Once we knew what we were going to do, we thought that how we could plan this was we could sketch it in our STEM notebook, so we got right started.
And frankly, our prototype doesn't look like much right now, but we built this prototype out of paper, glue, pipe cleaners, and tape. And for experimenting, we tested our prototype to make sure that it folded properly.
After we experimented with our project, we realized that no desk is 5 feet tall, so we added magnets. When you pull the eco-organizer up, the magnets will connect to each other, and the eco-organizer is the same size as a desk.
So, have you ever dropped your things in the hallway or had a hard time carrying supplies or had your back hurt from carrying your backpack? Well, not anymore. We present to you the Eco-Organizer.
Our eco-organizer's base is made out of an eco-friendly fabric, plus the pockets and handles are made out of upcycled or old clothes. Additionally, the handles on this handy product will prevent the back pain and health problems backpacks may cause. Did you know that 29 to 38% of students get back pain each year?
Well, one way to solve this problem is with rolling backpacks, but most schools don't allow them. A lot of kids carry their backpacks around all day, and that is clearly not healthy for kids. With the Eco-Organizer, carrying materials from class to class is much easier.
Just take this helpful organizer from your locker or backpack, then fill it up with the things you need for your homeroom. Every supply even has its own pocket. There are pockets for binders, folders, books, pens, pencils, and extra things like scissors. Even your water bottle and your snack can fit in there. When you're done filling up your Eco-Organizer, simply fold it and carry it using the handle up to your first class.
Then simply clip the Eco-Organizer to your desk. Voila! Continue folding it and carrying it from class to class throughout the day.
When school is over, you take out what you need for homework, plop it into your locker, and leave. So, are you tired of seeing kids late to class because they're dropping their things in the hallway or because their backpacks were too heavy and their back hurt?
Well, it's time for that to end. Invest in the Eco-Organizer for a more healthy and organized life for kids.
The
Eco-Organizer is definitely a student's answer to all of their dilemmas.
All of their dilemmas.
so they can see it? Sure. And are there questions and wonderings from the board or compliments?
I have a compliment. I thought the most amazing thing was that because it was too long to hang on the desk, that you have magnets that you can just hang it on and not make it as long. That's good.
We made sure that since we were going to be folding it up so that it would fit the desk,
Yeah.
we made sure that the things that people don't use as often would be on the bottom, so then, or in the middle, so then when you fold it up, whenever you really need it, you probably only need it once, so you only have to unclip it once to get it.
That's smart. Yeah, I like the magnets. Elaine.
I was going to say, I like that you wrote fish in a tree.
Oh, yeah.
I was at the New Jersey School Board's workshop, and I went to the STEAM Challenge, the award ceremony. And 3 boys presented almost the same thing. So if you get a chance, I mean, yours is great. I think yours has 1 or 2 more things on it than they did. But they were saying that they were going to start selling it for $45. It fits in their backpack, and I guess that's basically what your idea is. But when it opens up further. But if you get a chance, have somebody go into New Jersey School Board's workshop and take a look at the award ceremony, and you can see what they did and how well you did. And who knows, you might be selling the thing and around the school pretty soon.
Do you have a price point? Have you figured out a cost yet?
We haven't really figured that kind of stuff out. So far we've only figured out like how it's going to be made and how we're going to like continue to like make
Yeah,
it
the
work.
next
Because-
step for them will go into the financial part, and then they'll price out, because every project has to have an either recycle or upcycle, so they have to look at the prices of sustainable fabrics and everything. Then Mrs. Kennedy's going to work with them to figure out unit prices.
When we researched stuff, we found a website for eco-friendly like fabrics, and we found them for like a small price for like 6 yard sticks. That was like a pretty good price to start making it with. And we thought that the other, like the pockets and the handle, could be made out of like upcycled clothing. So it would all be eco-friendly at a cheap price.
Do you know what I kept thinking? That if you needed a financial backer, Mrs. Marin, because you all know why too, right? Because we have a teacher who's a little obsessed with things being left in the hallway downstairs. I think if you need some support, that's who you go to.
You can tell her that we'll clear out of the hallway.
That's another selling.
Maybe you should look for a backpack maker, a cheap backpack maker, and then you would have the whole package. You could put it all together. You could put whatever school district you're going to in the future, whatever you wanted to put on it, and go from there. That way you'd be selling the whole thing.
I was thinking of Gucci myself. This is our time, John.
If they get accepted by Steam Tank, the New Jersey School Boards and the Army Corps of Engineers will provide a mentor for them.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
good.
try to, we watched the video, right, with the shoes. They try to attach them with somebody that will be in that field.
Awesome. I love your organization, like you said, putting the most used things in the most accessible areas. That is just phenomenal. You just did a great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
So as the board knows, the difference between STEM, science, technology, engineering, math, and STEAM, science, technology, engineering, the arts, and math, can at times be hotly debated. So we have always acknowledged that a big part of the design process and engineering is the arts. So when Ms. Cat works with the lower grades, she's working with them on developing their imagination and developing their sense of the arts and how the arts comes into the design process in such a way that doesn't become too crafty. You know, sometimes as teachers we get a little too excited about glitter and glue. We know at home very often children are not allowed to have glitter. So we're trying to move away from that mindset and do something with our students that ignites their imagination and the spirit of the Creative Thinkers Lab. So I would like to bring up Thomas and Brady, who are going to lead you through a Creative Thinkers activity.
Michelle, what if you put the mic on here and they just
Yeah.
come stand in front of the podium?
Or they could actually use Mr. Griffin's.
And they can,
Just do it right
I don't know,
from
they
the
can
table
see them,
here.
that's fine.
and they can yell
Just
without getting in trouble.
Because you're second graders. You haven't grown as tall as your principal yet. Pretty soon you will, because your principal's pretty short. Thomas,
over here,
honey?
Tom.
Okay. Tom, do you want Grandma to come stand up here with you? Come on, Grandma. Grandma didn't know she was going to be on camera tonight. So this will be much
It's always
better.
good to know who our supporters are.
Yep. Come over here. And can Grandma stay back here with me? Okay.
Hi, I'm Brady, and this is Thomas. And in the STEM lab, we have been learning about constraints and criteria. Now, we did a challenge where we had to build the school out of Legos, but we had some constraints and criteria, which were that we could only use Legos. It had to be 12 blocks tall. We only had 15 minutes to make it. So we worked on that. It came out pretty good, and we'd like to say that we have a challenge for you now.
Thomas, did you want to say anything about building Wayside School? Okay, you don't have to. All right, Brady, you ready to pass out the challenge? I know Thomas is going to help pass out. Okay.
So this is their creativity challenges. So the second grade is working in centers. So to start off with, we did 2 centers. So they did the Build Center, which was Wayside School, which they're reading. And then we did the creativity challenge that they're going to hand out to you.
Thank you.
So in this challenge, it's called It's Not A. And you look at the picture and it tells you what it's not. So when they look at it, it's not a turkey. So you cannot make a turkey out of it.
You're assuming that I can make a turkey.
No turkeys. You're going to make something else.
Something else, okay.
Are there any adults in the audience or children who would
Anybody else
like
want to do
to?
this? You're going to show us up. Come on.
How much time do I have?
15 minutes.
Uh-oh.
A little less. How about 5?
This might be the best Board of Ed meeting I've been to.
I told you. All right. Can you explain what the constraints are, Brady?
Constraints are basically the limits.
The limits.
And we had 3 of those.
Okay, what are the limits?
The limits where we only had 15
You had 15 minutes.
minutes. Yeah.
How many is the board?
3. You only got 3.
3.
Any other
3.
constraints?
And your kid, what's,
Criteria is they can turn the paper anyway.
oh yeah, you can turn the paper any direction you want.
Yeah.
But the rule is, you cannot make it a turkey.
All right, you got it. Thomas, do you want to add anything? Do you want to say thank you into the mic?
Thank you. Thank you.
Thomas, what
Thomas?
did you make yours into? What did you make yours into? Which one did you do? Did you do the football? Yes. And what did you make it into? An eyeball. And Brady, which one did you do?
I did what? I did people,
What'd you make the table into?
make people to die.
I'm curious to see what the kids over there do. Yeah, it's like a team effort.
You know, I haven't put anything on the front page of the website in a while. No pressure.
No pressure whatsoever. I should introduce you to Riley, then you'll really be scared of dogs.
I don't know. Brady and Thomas, do you think it's been 3 minutes?
I think they have 15 seconds. Do you want to count down with me, Thomas? 15, 14, your time is up. 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So board, something that's very important in the STEM lab is we hold our work very dear to ourselves. We don't criticize ourselves because especially when you do something under constraints, it may not be as good as you want it yet. And that's really important. And that's one of the reasons why having a Creative Thinkers Lab helps our students build grit, and build curiosity, and build confidence. So I'm wondering if any of you are confident enough that you would like to share your picture. I see some really creative pictures, and I'm noticing that Mr. Walsh has not stopped drawing because he's going past the 3-minute constraint.
I didn't touch the whatever I drew.
Oh, okay.
I just wrote some words.
Were they school appropriate words, Mr. Walsh?
No, it just says 3 minutes isn't enough time.
Is there anybody else who would like to share?
You have all the We have all
right,
the confidence in that corner.
Here's the deal. You share, and then you pick on a board member to share theirs. Elle, you want to come up? Did you work with somebody, Elle, or did you work by yourself? Okay, and then who worked together? I saw some friends working together. Okay. Come on up, Elle.
I made a lion because I thought that the furry part, like the curves, looked like a mane. And Miss Bozios.
Well, Elle, you and I were on the same page because I made a poodle. Because you know the story in 4th grade about the person that was chased by the dog? That's my poodle story, and I often tell it when I'm teaching writing workshop. So I saw the same thing. I saw the head of the poodle. Weston, how about Weston?
Weston, you coming up?
I made a brain.
You made a brain?
Wow!
What made you think of a brain?
Hold it up higher so we can see it. Ah!
I like the color of it.
You know brains are pink? Yeah. Ish. Yeah?
Yeah.
Awesome. Would you like to pick on one of our illustrious board members? They have name tags in front of them if you want, and I can help you.
John.
Okay, John.
I drew this, whatever it is.
Looks like a snowman. Looks like a snowman.
Okay, it could be a snowman.
We like it. And we like that you think 3 minutes is not enough. Come on up, James.
I made a speech bubble saying, "I love STEM Lab."
Oh, isn't that nice?
He wasn't even paid for that.
He will be tomorrow.
James, would you like to pick up
That's
a board
good.
member to share?
Mrs. Nigam.
Thank you. Okay. I imagined a boxing glove.
Oh. Nice. Who's next? Lexi, you can come up. We'll try to get all of you up here.
I made a ballet dancer.
With a big tutu.
She's not going to
Mrs.
be able to do a
Acosta.
pirouette.
Wait, Lex, you gotta pick a board member.
She did.
I did. Oh, okay, sorry.
I made a snowman.
Just like you and Mr. West.
I know, we
Same.
were thinking.
Except he didn't know his was a snowman until he told him. Charlotte, come on. Mads, you can be next.
Oh, they did it together.
Oh, did you do it together? Oh, Charlotte and Maeve.
It took 3 years to draw one thing.
A chimney is what first came to mind, so we drew a chimney.
A chimney.
With the smoke coming out.
I like it. The smoke coming out. Perfect for a chilly evening.
Yep. Who are you
Well,
gonna
pick
call
up,
on?
pick
to
up
pick
a
a board
board member.
Pick Mr. Darien. I think he
Yeah.
drew something.
Yes.
Okay. We helped you.
So I thought this was interesting because I drew smoke also.
Oh, wow.
This is smoke from a car that does not have a catalytic converter. And I'm not critical of myself because in the pressure of the moment, I misspelled catalytic. So I'll give myself a pass.
Catalytic converter group. How many times have you misspelled catalytic? A lot. Yeah. So what's, Maddie, are you next?
I made a broccoli with a face. Miss Nori.
And it just looked to me like a little girl with puff ponytails.
Brady really liked that one.
Since I have 5 daughters, something girl kind of just struck
You
me.
did some nice eyes very quickly in 3 minutes.
Oh, yes. Lashes and all.
Is there anybody else, any other students who want to share? Are there any other board members who want to share?
Come on, Rita.
Oh, actually, Weston, wait till you see what Mrs. Walker drew.
This is me after I get a perm.
You know they're asking what is a perm.
Did you share?
Yeah, come on.
Yeah. Wait, we have one more.
You skipped one person.
Go ahead, Mr. Memora, do it.
Mr. Memora drew a cartoon character, which we wouldn't watch in Oradell Public School.
I think that one needs to go up on my phone.
Yeah, kind of like the kind of like The Simpsons.
Yeah. I was trying to put it into children's version.
Sure.
Thank you so much for learning with us tonight. Students, Please turn and look at your parents and thank them for bringing you tonight and for supporting you as you bring all of your things home and back and forth to school. And I'd like to thank our student presenters who were brave enough to come up and be videoed while talking about their Creative Thinkers lab work. Thank you.
I'd also like to say thank you for showing us just how much fun you have here. Because you let us have the same amount of fun that you guys are having here. Thank you.
So parents, don't feel guilty about leaving our meeting. We're used to it, having empty meetings. So we'll take a 5-minute break if you want to take off. If you want to stay, we'd love to have you.
Yeah, I thought I was going to take them home.
Yours.
That was cute.
We're passing it around. You want to carry it around? We got it started here. So if you want to go around that way.
And you know, when you think about it,
Thank you, Brady.
to the test, like, you know what I'm saying?
He's in charge.
Even think of games.
I don't think she has any.
The containers over here. Brady's carrying it.
Thank you.
I'm going to put it sideways so it doesn't fall. Thank you so much.
Piece of yeah, isn't it wonderful?
Did you get them all? Whoops. I think Miss Holly has the rest of them.
Oh, awesome.
I love when my family calls, does a group call in the middle of a board meeting.
It is a nice
They don't know where I am.
Here's my keys.
Brady and Brody.
No, they're doing it on Facebook Messenger. Yes.
That's like Lucas. That's big.
You want to try that
Never
thing out?
I know.
My keys,
I
my
was
car's
in
right
New York
outside.
Monday morning board meeting. They always
Oh, were
do
they?
something like that.
Well, John and Thomas and Michael. Yeah.
Mine go back and forth. So I have to get chime every time someone makes a remark.
Ah.
And they all.
Oh, gee, was it something we said?
I think it was you can leave.
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I asked Mrs. Hawley and Ms. Cataldo and crew to come today is because I thought it fit in well with trying to explain the work that we're doing towards our district goals. I am not going to update on all the goals today because there are 5 and 2 board goals and we'd be here very long. So we're going to call this part 1 and we're going to do the first 3 goals, and then at an upcoming meeting we'll do the second 2 district goals and the board goals. So just to bring us back to August when we were setting these goals, our first goal was to increase student engagement through the implementation of an inquiry approach to learning. And I had been very adamant at that time that this not just be STEM, this be inquiry, but the STEM work that we're doing falls right under this goal. The second goal was to develop and document structures to effectively implement a differentiated approach. And this was building on last year's goal, where last year we wanted to get better at analyzing data to be able to identify what students did well and what students needed to work on. And our focus this year is what are we doing in our classrooms from instructional structure base to figure out we have that data, how are we making it work in our classrooms. Our third goal is a very clear-cut quantitative goal that has to do with the NJS LA scores. And our fourth and fifth goal, which I'm going to hold off to our next meeting, is researching after school and evening enrichment opportunities and our technology plan. And I chose to hold off on those just because they are very contingent on me being able to speak to vendors. And they don't always get back to you right away. So many people have after school programs and I've reached out to them to set up meetings, but I just haven't been able to follow through on all of them yet. So our first goal, increasing student engagement through an implementation. This is part of the work we're doing right now. So we have as an administrative team, because we said, how are we going to know if we accomplish this goal. So we set out to create it's a form, it's a Google form that when we walk into a classroom, we fill out. And these aren't our formal observations that we do. These are the walkthroughs that we do every single day. So I try to do 3 to 5 a day, where I get into a classroom and I just spend 5 minutes there. And on this form, what we're looking at is who's doing the talking in the classroom. Is the teacher doing the talking, or is the student doing the talking in the classroom? Because we know if students are doing the talking, they're typically more engaged. We are looking at how is the classroom set up. Is the teacher in the front of the room and all students are just passively watching? We call that sage on the stage teaching. There is a place for that, but it should not be the predominant mode of instruction in our classrooms. Are students working collaboratively? If students are working in groups or independently, what is the teacher's role? Because the teacher should be working either with a small group or working individually with students to engage individual students at their level. We then actually decided that our observations weren't enough. We needed to really assess engagement. We needed to talk to children. So also in that form are questions such as, can the student tell us what they're learning that day? Can the student tell us how that learning connects to the learning they've done previously? And I feel like there's one more question that is escaping my mind right now. We've just started to do that, so I'm not going to use that data yet until I have 50, 60 walkthroughs so I can really look for trends. Because once we have those trends, we can say, this is what we're going to work on next. And that's the one way that I thought we could try to quantify a goal that is very qualitative in nature. We have also reached an agreement with the Innovative Design for Education, which is IDE, and they are doing professional development with our staff, specifically on questioning. One of the #1 ways to increase engagement is the questions you ask. So we already assess staff when we do formal observations on the types of questions. Are there questions close-ended? Are they things just like, what's 3 times 3? Or are they, talk to me about how you solved that mathematical problem. Take me through your process. Why did you use that strategy? So that's one of the things we're looking at, and IDE is also talking to staff about how do you use questioning and how do you get your students to use questioning? Because teachers should not be the only teachers in the room. Teachers should not be the only ones working in a room. Our students should be asking questions. Our students should be thinking as well. Implementation of the Creative Thinkers Lab. So when I post this on the website, that video that Ms. Cataldo showed to start today will be linked here. And we continue to also, Ms. Cataldo's work as a STEM coach is not just on working with students in the lab. So this week she's working with 3rd and 6th graders. Last week it was 2nd and 5th graders. The rest of her day is on working with them on projects that they're doing in the classroom. So those STEM learning modules that we put in based on the computer science and design thinking standards, or just in kindergarten, this could be Kibo. In 2nd grade, it could be dash and dot robots, which is something the PTA purchased for us for this year. And something, as soon as that gets up, we'll bring those students to a board meeting so you can actually see dash and dot at work. And I was just notified yesterday that we are also the recipient of, I think it was an $8,000 grant from Green Our Planet, and that is to start hydroponic gardening in the classrooms, and also a Green Garden Connect grant, which will help us to, as we work on the exterior beautification of our school, and we talk about, as those of you who pay attention to PTA, you know that there's some earmarked fund for some outdoor learning classrooms. So if that comes to moving the garden, which it may, the garden grant will actually send somebody here to help us set up a new garden. We've also purchased Exemplars, which is a math resource that is not going to replace what we already do, but it encourages children to think through problems instead of just getting the answer. And the #1 ways, and the reason, when we talked a lot about the STEM coach, and we said, why a coach and not a teacher? Because a teacher in that position will only impact X number of students for X number of time. So when it was a science lab, it was 35 minutes every other week, but that was it. But if you impact their teachers who are with them every day, you increase the benefit of it. So one of the ways that we work as an administrative team is if we're working on something with our students, we are also working on it with our staff. So use of the word wonder. Just like you get a board update and the community gets a community flash, our teachers get a faculty flash written by the principal, and every week there's a weekly wonder for the staff. Sometimes it is just something for them to look at and think through. Sometimes it's something they could bring into their own classroom just to get kids thinking. And the best way I could explain why, just sometimes wonder and engagement comes from something simple. If you've had a kindergartner that's gone through Oradell Public School, they have probably had a lesson in kindergarten from Miss Sham about Humpty Dumpty. We never think about this, but she teaches them a lot of nursery rhymes because kids don't know them anymore. And she always does Humpty Dumpty. And she teaches them Humpty Dumpty, and then she looks at them and she goes, why was Humpty on the wall in the first place? Simple things like that increase engagement and get kids not just to swallow information, but to question information. So that's some of the work that we've done with Goal 1, and it's November. It's something we're going to continue to work on, primarily based on the data we collect from the data collection survey. Goal 2, I have to be a teacher for a little bit, because when I started to write the goal update for Goal 2, I realized how many times I've said the word tiered systems of support, but I've never explained to you what tiered systems of support are. So the state of New Jersey requires all school districts to have a tiered systems of support model. Okay, it is one of the things we will be evaluated for under CUSAC. And tiered systems of support means that you have some clear programs in place about how you teach all students and differentiate for all students, how you differentiate for students who have small needs based on the curriculum, and how you differentiate for students who have large learning gaps because they didn't learn something in the past. And so that's our all, our some, and our few. So our all is Tier 1. And at Tier 1, what the tiered systems of support are trying to tell us is that even at Tier 1, we differentiate. We don't give every kid the same book and say read. You are required, even at Tier 1, it is a basic expectation at Oradell Public School and in the state of New Jersey that students get individualized instruction at their level in the general ed classroom. It's part of why we believe so strongly in a reading workshop model, because students are reading at their level in that model. It's part of why programs like Dreambox come into play, because they advance the child at their level. I was in a 3rd grade classroom today, and the 3rd grade lesson was on skip counting as a way to look at multiplication, okay? There was a student in a class in Dreambox where the question had him doing 17 times 8. That student was ready for that. And that's not at the yellow level, that's at the green level. All students get differentiated instruction based on what they need. When we get to our Tier 2 system, did I just jump a system or did I go out of order here? Uh-oh. Oh no, I've missed some, but that's okay. I'll just take you through some. So Tier 2 is still happening in the classroom. It's where our WIN period comes in. WIN stands for what I need. And it's students might need a little more help on something in the curriculum. It usually happens in a small group in the classroom. Tier 3 is the big change. Tier 3, or intervention cycles, is what replaces basic skills. Intervention cycles are not targeted for, these are the lowest kids in 3rd grade and we're just going to put them in basic skills. Intervention cycles take multiple data points. So we might look at the NJSLA from the year before and Start Strong and link it, and we kind of weight those things. And we go, wait, in the area of fractions, these are the students that are struggling. Not in all areas, in the areas of fractions. Those students then get put into the intervention cycle. So it's targeted instruction based on that group's need. So you might have a student in an intervention cycle for round 1 because it's fractions, but round 2 might be geometry, and that student doesn't need intervention in geometry, okay? So that's why we run multiple tiers throughout the year, but it's also very related to this piece here. So the actions that we've taken is really helping our staff understand that when a student is struggling, the first answer cannot be, get them more help with someone else. The first answer is identifying what they need help with in the classroom and giving them that instruction in the classroom. as administrators and with our interventionists, formerly basic skills teachers, we work with the data that we have for the whole school, for the whole grade level, to decide who needs that targeted Tier 3 intervention. Now, where this got hard in previous years was keeping track of it. It's a ton of data. That's why our Linkit costs went up this year, because we purchased a portal in Linkit called the Intervention Manager. It kind of allows us to say, give us this data, give us this data, give us this data, and it tells us which students are most in need in an area. And those are the students then that get our Tier 3 interventions. So Tier 2 always typically happens during the classroom and the WIN period. Tier 3 could happen before school. It could happen during the WIN period also. It could be pulled out during that time or after school. This is a new way to think, and it's a lot of pressure on a teacher, because now we're not just saying teach the lesson for the day. We're saying teach the 25 learners in your class where they are. And that's a long journey. It's not something I can go like this and say we're there. So much of our professional development is spent on that, and much of the time we give for staff is spent on that, so that when it's a WIN period, they've looked at the data and they've said, I can do a center like this, a center like this, and a center like this. And that's what they did during the November 8th day. And we've, again, like I said before, that the coach model has a benefit. We've also started to look at our intervention teachers as coaches as well. They work with some of our students that struggle, and they have a different toolbox of strategies. So we've started to provide them some time in their schedule where if a teacher has a student that's struggling, the intervention teacher can go in, watch them, and then give the teacher suggestions based on their toolbox as well. And that's really, in my board update, I spoke about the term collective efficacy, and that's a term you are going to hear a lot this year. It's about seeing all students as our students, not just the 12 students in front of me, not just this year's students or last year's students. And that's one of the ways we try to build that by using the strengths of our intervention teachers to help build the skill sets of a classroom teacher that might just never have come across a student who didn't know Magic E before. And our goal 3 has to do specifically with our standardized testing. I will update that the state has still not put on the website all of the county results. I do anticipate it soon, because I have to, by the end of this week, file an appeal if there's any errors in our data. So my guess is they're holding back on those spreadsheets until any appeals have been filed. But we have used that data to have our child study team members work with our general education teachers on interventions. We have used that data to always make some decisions as well. So our third graders last year were incredibly high in math, the highest we've ever seen, actually. But their language arts was a little lagging. And so one of the things that we've chosen to do in second grade is to increase our phonics program to second grade to see if that might, in third grade, reading's a little bit different than up in the upper grades, where comprehension really comes into play. In third grade, it really still could be some decoding weaknesses. And we continue to use our Title III funds for our ELL learners, because we saw on our testing that our ELL learners were lagging behind in some areas. We also, on a most recent deep dive into our testing, noticed that our former ELL learners were struggling in mathematics once they tested out of ELL, which is probably still vocabulary based. So our ELL teacher has actually just changed her professional goal for this year to target that specifically, to figure out what can we do differently. These students are already out of our program, but how do we help all of our teachers be aware that this weakness may still be there? And we are also beginning to plan for an after-school math academy to target those cusp kids, and we're specifically going to focus on math this year. As I said, I'm only going to talk about the first 3 goals. I will hold off on goals 4 and 5 until a future board meeting. But do you have anything that you wonder about district goals 1 through 3? Mr. Walsh, I'm sorry.
You were saying that in your explanation that the teacher, you have 3 tiers. So the teacher is teaching and has to know her students, which ones fall, depending on the subject, which ones fall in the all, the some, or the few, right?
No, they're all in all.
Well, that's what
Everyone's
they
in all.
start out. But
Nope,
some
they
are-
all stay in all. The ones that are going to go to two, yes, the teacher's going to identify. The ones that go to three, we as a whole school are going to identify. So at one, the teacher needs to know all of those students to know every day what to teach them.
Okay. And you're saying that she's not worried about the ones that get some of the answers
No, she's worried
Right.
about them.
and the ones that get none of the answers?
Well, she's still worried about them. It's
Okay,
her
I'm not
job.
saying she's not worried
It's
about
her
them, but-
job to differentiate for them. So we use a computer program called Dreambox. It's her
So
job.
at what point do the children in the second and third level, according to your, get help?
When they need it, when they move to the second or third level. So
Okay, suppose they're in the second and third level and right from the beginning.
then they're going to get special interventions during the WIN period if they're in level 2. When the intervention teacher, when our former basic skills teachers go into the classroom, or when the teacher works with a small group of students during the WIN period or during reading workshop or math workshop, they're going to get it. But they're going to get it because they need it, where all kids are going to get something at level 1. Level 3, if they were identified, they're already in a targeted intervention cycle. So targeted intervention starts right from the start, and then it ends. It has a clear ending, and then we say, okay, what's the next cycle? Who needs it now? And it might be the same student still.
And you're saying that they get it right from the beginning?
The green kids?
Yeah.
The green kids are going.
No, the red.
Yes, we
the
have
few.
we have students who get targeted intervention right from the beginning because we've assessed them at the beginning of the year. So we took the NJS LA scores from last year, or the Start Strong scores, which I have to present on very soon.
So hopefully the numbers go down to 0.
Well, I don't
But that's what I'm looking for when I look at the test. Now, at what point the teachers notice that the child is not getting this concept in, let's say, math? So does she give him work?
On that
Or
concept.
send work home so he can get extra help?
Yes, that's what she does during the WIN period. So if on Monday I saw a student that couldn't add fractions, but 75% of the class could add fractions, on Tuesday, when that teacher has their WIN period, they're going to pull 25% of the students together that can add fractions. But the other 75% don't need that.
Okay.
So during that WIN
So
period,
the
they'll get
other
what they need.
75 would be in the green?
Sure.
Okay. Long as I got the colors right.
Sure. Everyone's in green.
Okay.
I have a follow-up question. So you mentioned before going into WIN period, the teachers are going into the Linkit dashboards and they're pulling the data, or how are they kind of doing that data collection? Just curious in
Okay,
understanding
so
that.
remember that Linkit's a dashboard for a data warehouse for many things.
Right.
So it's not just the navigator.
Right.
Okay, and that's really important to remember because when we give a navigator at the beginning of the year, it's that year's standards. So not knowing it is kind of normal. Okay, so, but they have access to all the navigator reports in there, and they can pull anything up and look at their class and see who in that class did poorly on one standard, or who on the class, did well on a standard. We haven't put like general math assessments in there, so that they have to use their other things. So when you ask that question, do you mean specifically for tier 3 or for every day?
For every day, because I
Yeah.
guess they have to figure out which students move in and out of a certain tier, right?
And everyone's always in green. That's all, right?
Right.
So those kids that are in yellow are typically your kids. You're going to know they're struggling. They're
Right.
not getting their math quiz right. They got all their homework wrong the night before. you're going to kind of know that these are the kids.
Got it.
And
Okay.
trust me, in the upper grades, they're just going to come in and tell you.
Yeah.
I didn't understand this last night. So where Linkit truly, really comes in is getting to the red.
Got it.
So
Okay.
that you're not just lumping a kid because they got a low score on one assessment, because one assessment means nothing unless it's a trend over time.
Can you tell if the parent is doing the homework or the child is doing homework?
Actually, yes, because what happens, we can in math, in grades like K through 5, because the platform we use, Dreambox, on the computer, when a kid answers a question right, it gives them harder problems. So if their parent helped them the night before, they got the questions right, and they got harder problems that are now far above their ability level. So sometimes you actually can.
No, I was just thinking about when I did my homework for my kids.
We don't carry this, and we don't multiply like that, and we don't put the decimal this way, Mom. So.
The CPA doesn't really help with the math homework.
Do we have new math?
When they get to the older grades, it's actually math that we understand. I think when they were younger, it was, I forgot what it was called.
Yeah, I remember that horror.
Yeah, it was, more rounded, I guess I would call it, but this is more, what was it called?
It's not new math, it's the same math that Socrates did.
Right, and that's exactly why.
It's just we're looking at the process of math. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to talk on the side.
Anything else?
Oh, that concludes my report for tonight.
Business administrators report?
No report.
Okay, moving on. Review of minutes. Mr. Marmara, I believe, emailed these today, the October 27th ones. Any questions or comments, please email him before the next meeting. We have the approval of October 12th. Do I have a motion?
So
I move.
Mrs.
we,
Norian, do I have a
approve.
second?
I second it. If
Any
Catherine
questions?
first it.
Call the
Okay.
questions.
Mrs. Acosta? Yes. Mrs. Negum?
Abstain.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Abstain for the October 28th.
No,
We're
that's
only
just a-
voting on the 12th.
Oh, then yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, committee reports, buildings and grounds, Mr. Darian.
Yes, I have two items, B1 I'd like to introduce, and B2.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Acosta? Yes. Mrs. Negum?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, curriculum, Mrs. Norian.
Yes, as Mrs. Bozios alluded to, we are looking to set up a meeting of the curriculum committee. So there's nothing else to report until we do that.
Finance technology, Mr. Darian, would you take that?
Yes, I'd like to introduce items D1 through D7.
I'll second it.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Acosta? Yes. Mrs. Negum?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, delegate report, Mr. Walsh.
I have nothing to report. However, I should be going to the delegates assembly, but I haven't gotten any notification of the, John is going to help me with it tomorrow. So I think that the meeting is probably a Saturday.
This Saturday?
Yeah. Because the following Saturday is Thanksgiving. Usually it's not that late.
We need to approve travel expenses.
We could retroactively approve. The only thing is that, I'm not sure about when the meeting is. Okay,
That's this Saturday.
yeah.
So we'll do it under new business at the end.
Okay.
Personnel, Mrs. Walker?
Yes, I'd like to present, well, we had a meeting tonight, and those minutes will be in your packet next meeting. I'd like to present F1 and F2.
Second.
Just F1, unless I'm staring at the wrong
just one.
agenda.
F1.
I have F2 here.
You?
Are you looking at the old agenda?
The agenda. My so
F1, the report we went over in personnel. Okay, do I have a second?
I seconded.
Any questions? Call the question?
Mrs. Acosta? Mrs. Negum?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Yes.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes, policy, Mrs. Negum?
Nothing to report today.
Any update on public relations or COVID task force, since Mr. Griffin's on here? No. Open to the public. Wanting to do another presentation? Keep us here another hour?
I'm not as cute as those kids.
Okay, so under new business, we're going to, I need, Mr. Darian, would you make a motion for Mr. Walsh's travel expenses for this Saturday?
Yes, I'd like to
November 19th?
make a motion that we accept travel expenses for Mr. Walsh as he goes to delegate assembly.
Mercer County College.
Mercer County College.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mrs. Acosta?
Yes.
Mrs. Negum?
Yes.
Mrs. Norian?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Walsh?
Abstain.
Mr. Darian?
Yes.
Mrs. Nichols?
Yes. Any other old or new business? Okay.
I thought we were getting 2 drawings.
We could get you another paper, John. I move that we adjourn.
I'll
Second.
Second by Mr. Walsh. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
What's that?
Okay. Yep. Thanks.